Hey YouTube, Al here, and this week I want to talk about amplifiers. So the amplifier I've been using for these videos for the past 3-4 years it is now. My old main gigging amp, I lend it to friends when they're gigging, and hopefully I'll be gigging again soon, so I'll be using it again. Is a Kustom Double Barrel. It's a solid state 2x12, that means there's two 12-inch speakers. Kind of a Fendery, blackfacey kinda thing, it's one of them, a bit like that. And I've swapped out the speaker in my Blackstar HD112 cab not long ago. It was a Blackbird, it was called a Blackbird speaker, and I swapped that out for a Celestion G12 100-watt speaker. So that got me thinking when I turned my attention back to my custom amp, which I cleaned up and, you know, I've been using at home a lot recently. It got me thinking, well, the speakers that are in that are a bit cheap and they seem a bit lackluster. So I wondered if perhaps upgrading the speakers or putting it through a different cabinet would make a difference to the volume, because it's not quite as loud as I'd like. Well, when friends have borrowed it in that, it's not quite loud enough to gig with. It's almost there. The spec sheet says that the amp is 80 dB full out, full gain and full volume, so that's the max you should be getting. And most Celestion speakers seem to be around 97 to 101 dB, in that sort of range, that sort of ballpark. So in theory, a Celestion speaker, I think, should be louder than one of these speakers. Bear in mind, there is two of them, so you're moving twice the air, so it's going to be double the volume, probably. I don't know. A bit louder. I don't know. So I want to give it a go, basically. The Kustom has a speaker out cable which disconnects the internal speakers, and you can send it to an out. So here's my proposal. I will be using an iPad for a decibel meter to make it all scientific and lovely, and I will be running a slightly crunchy sound through my custom stock, and then I'm going to plug in the 112 and I'm going to run the amplifier just through the 112, and we're going to see on the same settings if the 112 is louder, and if it makes a difference to the sound, if I prefer the sound with the 112 with the Celestion speaker to the stock 2 speakers. So yeah, I don't really know what's going to happen. I have an inkling that the 212 will still be louder than the 112, but I think that there might be a better dynamic range on the one speaker because it's a Celestion and it's it's not an own brand thing, as opposed to the Kustoms that seem quite light and cheap. But I really don't know, so let's find out. Got a little bit of reverb on the amp, just so it's not so dead. It's a PRS Tremonti single cut. These are SE245 pickups. It's got CTS pots and all the nice gubbins and locking tuners. Isn't it lovely? Yes, it is. Let's move on. It's straight into the amplifier, so here we go. Probably about decent volume. Okay, so let's try the other cab. Hey, it works. Okay, we're going for the Black Star now. That one. Completely butchered because you can't play your own. You've got to play your own stuff now. Since you want to board it. Gonna go back to the first setting. Well, there you have it. What do you think? The settings on the custom amp were the same for both. Literally, all I did was lean over and plug it into the speaker out, so it came through the 112, not the stock 212 speakers. Let me know what you think. Personally, I think the 112 sounded better. I think there was more dynamic range, it sounded warmer, it felt more proper. That's the best word I can describe. I can use to describe it. It just sounds more proper, and it feels more proper. When I went back to the custom speakers, it confirmed. It felt bigger in the 112. It felt like it was more bass end and more clarity. yeah, I think the custom speakers are kind of like, I always go back to this in my own head. It's kind of like an Epiphone pickup versus a Gibson pickup. The Epiphone pickups to me feel higher output and thinner and yet muffled. And it's not a lot. The differences are subtle, but they're there to me. And to me, it's the same thing. The custom speakers felt a bit fizzier and a bit fizzy, a bit more, but they didn't sound as big. They sounded a bit more hollow and empty, maybe. Not an entirely scientific test, because the 112 was closer to my ears. I mean, the 212 was firing up my balls most of the time, you know, which is a bit different. I suppose if I had them both on the same level, it would be more a fair test. I think the dB meter kind of shows how much volume they're kicking out in more of a scientific way, especially because it was the same distance from both the amps, so you're getting a fairly accurate, you know, it's pretty much the same between the two, as much as you can account for. So let me know what you think. I think it's making me reconsider the speakers in this amplifier. I don't know. I'm gonna try it through my 212 when I get it back. It's been on long-term loan. That and my Marshall, which it still is. It's on long-term loan to a mate. He's gigging and he hasn't got a gigging amp, so I'm just letting him borrow mine until he can afford his own, basically. But he's got a 212, so I'm gonna nab my 212 back off him at some point, and then we can do a proper shootout, 212 to 212, and that'll be kind of part 2 of this, which I think is going to be really interesting. So yeah, I'm going to say it a third time because I think I won't stop saying it. I keep forgetting and losing my train of thought. I've done it again. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that nonsense. I'm doing a lot of gesticulating today. Sorry, I've had a lot of tea. My name is Al. Thank you very much for watching. And until then, I'll see you next week. So, bye-bye.
Bye!